back. Today we're talking about another Telecaster. So the last Tele I talked about was a parts guitar. And this one, it's kind of on the line of being a parts guitar and just being something that's been upgraded. This is a 2011 Mexican standard. Bought it in like 2012. Used. I mean, it was pretty much new in stock at that point. Hadn't been messed with or anything. And over the years, I've had some modifications done to it. It's a cool guitar, and to me it doesn't feel, or I don't think of this as just like a plain old Mexican standard. But it's also not like, oh, this is a dead-on reissue. None of the mods that I've had done have been things to make it exactly like a vintage Telecaster. The first thing, I'll go chronologically, I suppose. The first thing that got done are pickups getting replaced. These are the Fender original pickups. So they're not like a 52 reissue or anything. They just called them the original Telecaster pickup. And they're relatively inexpensive. I want to say you can still get these for like $100 a set. I like how they sound. I want to say they're not super bright. However, in playing this guitar for this video, playing it through the amp, I've realized this guitar is brighter than I remembered it was. But it's not just twangy. I think of a Telecaster and I think of old school country players. And this does the rock thing really well. Like, puts me in mind of a Les Paul Jr. Once again, single coil pickup. You know, it's got the dog ear P90 and a Junior. Something about the Tele bridge pickup, between the design of the pickup and the bridge. I've heard some people suggest that the bridge is kind of amplifying the magnetic pull of the pickup, but this thing's a rock machine. So yeah, the pickups were the first thing. I had actually tried to put a anodized pickguard on here, which once I was able to do it, it actually kind of looked dumb. But it was too small for the neck pickup, and I tried to force it, not knowing what I was doing. And lo and behold, the neck pickup no longer worked because I had stripped a wire off of it. So I figured, okay, well, time to swap the pickups. Fender original pickups, like I mentioned. I'd seen them locally in a store and went and picked them up. The next thing that happened, well, there's two things. I don't remember which one got done first. They might have got done around the same time. We've got Spurzl locking tuners. So the flat finish ones, it seems like I see the chrome ones most of the time. I still see these every once in a while, but someone had them locally, and I got a deal on those too. The bridge. Ooh, I love the bridge that I've got on here. This is the Callahan 3-saddle Tele bridge. I've actually got a shorter one that I'm thinking about either putting on that parts guitar y'all saw before, or maybe getting a new guitar or starting another parts build just to have that short Callahan bridge on. I love the way a 3-saddle bridge on a Telecaster, the way the guitar resonates. Originally, this would have had the 6-saddle, just run-of-the-mill Mexican standard Tele bridge. And to me, there's something magic about the 3-saddle bridge. Like I said, that mixed with the actual bridge pickup, there's a lot of magic going on right here. There's a lot to be said about Telecasters. I mean, I was talking in the comments on one of those last videos with someone about how there's an adage I've seen on the internet and I've heard other people say in conversation, and Leo got it right the first time. And I really think it doesn't mean it's the only good guitar design. But I really think that's a real thing. So for those of you that don't know, the Telecaster, the general idea of what this guitar is, was the first production solid body electric guitar. So in 1950, 51, 52, well, we'll go with 1950. In 1950, there were no production solid body electric guitars. If you bought an electric guitar, it was a hollow body instrument. So it was like an acoustic guitar with pickups put on it. Maybe a little bit less crude than that, but that was essentially the design of the guitar. And then between Leo Fender and Les Paul in the 50s, they heralded in the world of solid body electric guitars. This was the first design that was mass produced. And what you see here, how I've got this guitar, I mean, they didn't have locking tuners back then. And this exact bridge design isn't what the first Tellies were, but this is pretty close to what an original Telly would be. They would have the 3 saddle pickups, which when I say 3 saddle, it's got 3 saddles, so 2 strings on each saddle, brass saddles on this, which is what the originals would have been. More modern guitars, you'll see a 6 saddle bridge. I thought I had an example of that here, but I don't. It's preference. It's Coke or Pepsi. Do you like the 3 saddle? Do you like the 6 saddle? I like the 3 saddle, but if you like the 6, knock your socks off. But I think it's so cool that this guitar designed maybe even in the late 40s, going into the 50s, and I'm playing a version of it today in 2024, pretty much exactly the same, and it still works. Like, sure, you could say, oh, well, noiseless pickups if you wanted to, or you could put a 4-way switch on here to get in and out of phase, in and out of parallel, whatever. Which, by the way, the original Telecasters would have had a different switching setup than modern Tellys. For those of you that don't know, you had your bridge pickup, you had your neck with the tone knob active, and then you had your neck with the tone knob rolled all the way off. And you got to think, back when these were originally designed, Leo Fender hadn't designed the first P bass yet, the first precision bass. So bass players were still hauling around a huge stand-up instrument, as opposed to having what we now see most bass players having, a solid body bass. So you would go to this neck pickup with the tone rolled all the way off by just going to the neck pickup, and someone would play faux bass, play bass lines on the guitar. That would be your bass player in the band. When I think of the Telecaster, I think of old school country artists, chicken pickers. But there's another kind of genre that Telecasters really worked their way into that I think is really the reason that I started playing Tellys, the reason that I bought this guitar in the first place. I grew up listening to alternative music. A really big focus on alternative music in the 2000s. So like Killers and Kings of Leon and all sorts of things in between, or maybe not even close to that, Block Party. And a lot of those bands, you'd see Telecasters pop up. Like Block Party comes to mind if you watch a lot of their live videos. Kelly, the singer, was playing just a bone stock Mexican Telly, something similar to what this would have been new, into I think a Hot Rod Deluxe. And there's something about that sound that, not just them, but that sound that noodled its way into my brain later on, a band that I really dug was Cage the Elephant. Their first record, that self-titled album that came out in 2009, 2010, had In One Ear, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, Back Against the Wall. That record, if I'm not mistaken, the main guitar Brad Schultz, the rhythm guitarist, played was a Mexican standard Telecaster. His was Lake Placid Blue with the maple fretboard. But his was just bone stock. He beat the hell out of it. There's a video of him kind of going through his rig. It was, at that point, the Tele and a Supersonic. But I think he also used a Hot Rod DeVille quite a bit at that point. And that actually, Cage the Elephant, was probably the main reason I bought this guitar. Tele pickups are a cool thing. They're single coils. And if you don't know a ton about pickups, you might think, oh, this looks like a Strat pickup, and, this might be a lipstick pickup, but that's not the case. The Tele bridge pickup is a bit fatter. I really love a Tele bridge pickup. I think I've talked about that already. I've seen a lot of people, I know people that will swap out the pick guard and put a different kind of neck pickup in a Tele. I actually really like the Telecaster neck pickup. There's something both fat and kind of slinky about it. It's bright, but it's fat. That if you swap a Strat pickup out for it, a Strat pickup's cool in this, but there's something to the neck pickup on a Telecaster. And just the amount of sounds you can get between the neck, the middle, and the bridge pickup, and being able to ride the volume and tone, especially with it being a brighter guitar where you can just kind of roll some of that brightness off. You can get a lot of different sounds out of it. You get the bridge pickup and you roll enough highs off of it, but not too much, and it almost gets kind of humbuckery. The neck pickup, same deal, where it can be really woolly and you can kind of get that woman tone out of it. The middle can be very bright, where kind of that funky Strat type thing, you can get something close to it. It's not quite the same, especially a Strat when you have a neck or when you have a middle pickup. The second and fourth positions in that, unless you've got a middle pickup like a Nashville Tele or one of those Teles that's got the second neck pickup in the middle, you're not going to get exactly like that. But you can get some funky, cool sounds in that middle position. So, what do y'all think? Is this a parts guitar? Is it just an upgraded Mexican Tele? I think it's just an upgraded guitar. I suppose I'm just trying to be a little cheeky in saying, oh, this might be a parts guitar. It's just a Mexican Tele that's been upgraded, which is pretty common with these. They're a cool platform you start with a guitar that already works, so you don't have to buy all the parts and wait to have them put together or wait till you get them put together yourself. You start with a guitar and then you go, well, I want to change out the pickups. I want to change out the bridge. We got some Spurzels, let's put some locking tuners on it. They're cool to mod. If you're thinking like, hey, I want a decent guitar, but I'm going to swap pickups and a bunch of other stuff, Mexican Fenders are a great place to be, especially the current ones. The Player 2 Strats and Teles, I've played a couple of those. They're great playing instruments out of the box. They're putting Alnico pickups in them now, so you're even closer to what the guitars originally would have been, what a good set of pickups are. Yeah. Have you upgraded a Mexican Tele or Strat or whatever, Jazzmaster? What would you do differently? What has this inspired you to do? Thanks to Perennial Sound Studio here in Champaign, Illinois. If you're looking to record vocals, take vocal lessons, record music in general, guitar lessons, bass lessons, piano lessons, I will leave a link down below. If you want to book any kind of services like that, go there. Thanks for stopping by.